Imagine a warrior so feared, so cunning, that he could crush a kingdom without ever swinging a sword. This isn't fiction. This is the real story of Ivar the Boneless. While other Viking leaders wielded axes and swords, Ivar used something far more dangerous: strategy, manipulation, and fear. Born into a world where power was measured in blood and steel, Ivar rewrote the rules of warfare. They called him boneless. Was it because of a disease, a metaphor for his agility, or something more sinister? Whatever the truth, one fact remains. Ivar didn't need to fight in the traditional sense. He conquered through sheer psychological dominance. But how did a man possibly unable to walk lead one of the most devastating campaigns in history? What kind of intellect turns fear into a finely tuned weapon? And why does his name echo through the centuries like a whispered curse? This isn't just a tale of swords and sieges. It's the story of a tactician who understood one profound truth. To win a war, you don't always need to fight. Sometimes, you just need to make your enemy believe they've already lost. Now, let's dive into the legend behind the mind that broke a kingdom. To understand Ivar's method of conquest, we must first understand the manner, perhaps the myth. Ivar Ragnarsson, better known as the Boneless, was one of the infamous sons of the legendary Viking hero Ragnar Lothbrok. But unlike his brothers, who were celebrated for feats of brute strength, Ivar's fame came from fear, mystery, and unmatched intellect. The origins of his nickname are debated to this day. Some say it points to a debilitating medical condition, maybe osteogenesis, imperfecta, or a form of extreme joint flexibility. Others argue it's symbolic, referencing his serpentine grace or his ghost-like agility in battle. One thing is certain: Ivar transformed what could have been seen as a weakness into an icon of terror. He didn't just lead armies, led legends. Ivar's very name struck fear into his enemies before a single blade was drawn. Charismatic, ruthless, and calculating, he embodied a different kind of warrior. He wasn't interested in personal glory through direct combat. His victories came through strategy, fear, and control. From an early age, Ivar displayed signs of remarkable cunning. He read people like battle maps. He realized something few others did: the human mind was the most vulnerable battlefield of all. Before Ivar could implement his strategy, the stage had to be set, and 9th century England was the perfect storm of opportunity and weakness. The land was divided into multiple kingdoms: Northumbria, Mercia, Wessex, and East Anglia, vying for dominance. There was no central leadership, no unifying defense, only fractured rule built on shaky alliances and old grudges. It was a chessboard begging for a master player. Ivar arrived not just as a warrior, but as a tactician with the great heathen army coalition of elite Norse fighters. But unlike typical Viking invasions, he didn't charge blindly into battle. Instead, he observed. He mapped the social terrain. He identified political fault lines and personal vendettas ripe for exploitation. Ivar didn't need to conquer these kingdoms through force. He let their own paranoia and disunity do the work for him. When the killings started, much of the damage had already been done from the inside out. Once the kingdoms were teetering on collapse, Ivar made his move, but not with swords or fire. He wielded the sharp edge of psychology, turning fear itself into a weapon. He amplified dread, making every shadow a potential horde and every whisper a death sentence. One of his most infamous psychological blows came with the capture of King Ella of Northumbria, man responsible for his father, Ragnar's death. Ivar didn't simply kill him. He allegedly performed the Blood Eagle, a gruesome execution ritual. Whether myth or reality, the story served a purpose: terror. It wasn't revenge, it was psychological warfare at its most brutal. Ivar understood that horror spreads faster than armies. His tactics didn't just win battles, they infected minds. Every monstrous rumor added to his myth, making him larger than life. People feared not just what he might do, but what they imagined he could do. Ivar the Boneless didn't just win battle, she rewrote the rules of war. In a brutal age where muscle meant power, he proved that fear could cut deeper than any blade. He didn't conquer kingdoms through endless sieges or overwhelming force. He dismantled them with silence, suspicion, and strategic brilliance. His greatest weapon wasn't a sword, it was insight. He understood that terror lingers longer than war cries, that one gruesome tale could unravel entire alliances, that when enemies question their friends, they've already begun to lose. If this story gripped you, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more epic tales of strategy and history.